Welcome back to the ABC of EDC with me, Rick Flatt, your host through everything, everyday carry. We're going to have a week talking about knives. I like knives. Here's my current everyday this is my current ride, man. This is the twisted assisted traditional. I call it the gentleman. Love this thing. Just a slip knot, UK legal, non-locking. Love this knife. Love to have it in my pocket. I'm doing this video for probably two groups. Firstly, novices, and secondly, enthusiasts. For the novice, maybe the only knife you've ever held is when you butter your bread, and that's okay. But you've always wanted to what are these folding knives and locking knives? What's that about? Come on over, come and have a look at this. I'll take you through my collection and you can see for yourself what kinds of knives are out there, price point, what they look like, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, the enthusiast. You've got a much better knife collection than me. That's not really that difficult, right? But maybe looking through my collection, you'll just remember some stuff. You'll say, do you know what, man? I've not got a Spyderco. I've not got a Benchmade. You might think, I've not got whatever. Fill in the blank. So hopefully this will be a good video for all of you. While I'm doing this, making this contribution to humanity and peace in the world, would you do me a solid and just like, subscribe, and press the little bell icon, and then I'll know you're with me. At the moment, I can see from analytics that about 86% of people who watch my content aren't subscribed, and that makes me Team Sad Face. I'd like to swap that out, so just do that for me. We'll be doing a subscriber giveaway in May, giving away a watch to thanks current subscribers and to welcome in, usher in, call in new subscribers. It'd be nice to get up to that kind of 1,000 mark. Be good for me. Anyway, whizzy, let's turn around and get into it. So here is my current knife collection. I've tried to put these in the order in which I purchased them. I know this was the first knife I bought, and I know this was the last knife I bought, but in the middle it's a little bit mixed up, but pretty much. Now, what we're doing here is not going into massive technical specs, because I can't remember, unless it's written on the blade, the exact blade material and all that sort of stuff, and the exact mechanisms within them all. I'll put as much information as I can on the screen, but really what I want to do is give you a good overview of the kind of knives with the kind of mechanisms that are available. Just if you're getting into knives, this is a great little video. Warm me up a little bit. So let's start with this. This is the Gerber Tactical Remix. Now, I bought this knife a long time ago, like first knife I bought, and it was a monster. And I've got a whole separate video. I'll link to it up here and you can jump on there and get some more information about it. This now has become my proper beater's knife. As you can see, it is gnarly, messed up. The blade's all speckled. But this is the knife I carry. If I'm out in the woods doing events with men like I do 4 times a year, I carry this knife. It just goes in my back pocket. I don't use the nice little belt clip. I just use the lanyard I've attached to it. And it's got a nice little serrated edge, nice kind of sharp point, but I've been known to open tins of paint, wedge things open or shut with this, and just, I've lost this a couple of times and then found it again. Beater of beater, but it's a great knife to have just as an, kind of like out in the woods, whatever, who cares. You need a sturdy, the lock's really good on it, the grip's really good on it. Good little knife, world's strangest knife though. Next up, it's a knife that's very important to me. Not because of what it is, but because of where it came from. I went to Colorado and went to a men's conference up in the mountains, about 250, 300 of us. And at a certain point in that conference, they gave every man one of these knives. And it's just a great, it's a Kershaw chive, I believe. I think it's a Ken Onion design. Great little knife, chunky little sucker. Love the little blade, the blade shape of this, bit of a hard blade to sharpen. And talking of that, all of these knives get used. None of these knives just kind of stay in a box or on a shelf. They all get used. So they're all in various kind of states of disarray as far as how sharp they are, whether some of them have lost their tip, how tarnished the blades are, whether there's any gunk in the mechanisms or in the body of the blade, body of the knife. I use my knives, and I love this knife, like I say, for sentimental reasons. I love it as a little knife, and it's one I first started carrying, but I don't carry it anymore because it isn't UK legal, and I don't want to lose this just for the sake of carrying something that's sentimental. So I keep that now at home. Great little knife, and Kershaw are actually a great company as far as entry-level knives if you're looking to get into knives. Again, here we have another Kershaw. I can't remember the name of this one, and to be honest with you, if you start collecting knives, it's like collecting anything. There's going to be a few things that you collect that you simply don't really like. This is that for me. I don't really like this knife. It's way too thick. Look, man, finger thick. It's just kind of ugly. You know, I don't know what I was doing when I bought this, but it's a nice enough knife. Again, Kershaw. I can't remember the actual name of it. Again, like if you look at this blade and this blade shape, they're very, very similar. You can see very, I think is it a Tonto? I'm not sure, man. I really should know this, trying to run one of these ABC or VDC channel situations, but I just don't know. But I don't like this knife. The liner lock is uncomfortable to operate. It's not very kind of natural. I would say it's got a good opening. I like the look of it in a photo. I think that's what got me. I like this kind of like weird kind of circuit boardy kind of design on it, and I like that black blade. Do you know what I mean? I like it, man. Look kind of stealth, but in reality, not great. The pocket clip is a teeny tiny little baby one, so yeah, not one of my faves. This, however, is one of my favorites, man. This is the Spyderco Tenacious. Now, if you know anything about knives, you at some point you start looking, you'll come across Spyderco. They're easy to spot because most of them have the Spidey hole, the painted Spidey hole. They have a cheaper company, Bird, that also have the bird hole. Looks a bit like a bird skull or something, but this is it, man. And this, again, it's a great knife. Love this. This doesn't get used enough. It's sat on my shelf for a long time, so it's a little bit sticky. Again, you see the blade there. I actually tried to sharpen this one. You see how much I messed it up? It's just a bad time, man. I've actually ordered a whetstone, and we're going to have a video where I overhaul these knives and try and get a good edge back on them, because there really isn't much of an edge on this sucker. But I love the form factor. It's great in hand. It looks good, but obviously it's a different thing. You know, if you pull this out somewhere, you know, it's very different to if you pull that out somewhere. Obviously, it's going to be quite a different reaction. But great knife, Spyderco Tenacious. I can recommend Spyderco's great. This the Para 2, if anything from a bug. They're a really tiny one you can keep on your keyring, all the way up to some of their monsters, mate. They get up there in price. That's the only problem with Spyderco. They get up there in price. This is an Emerson. Again, this is a knife I'm not entirely in love with, but I've kept because it has a few things about it I do like. One being the blade shape. It's just ugly and mean, isn't it? The other thing being the fact it's got two colours. It's got a black handle on the other side. It's got this silver. It's a frame lock as opposed to a liner lock. So with locking knives, you're going to get things like this, like a liner lock. So you see in there, they got this outer case, and within it a liner, and it's that pushes over in order to close it. But then this one, as you see, is actually not a line lock. It's a frame lock. It's part of the actual outside of the frame. I prefer frame locks. In most cases, I can't even get this thing shut, man. This is how bad this knife is, man. I might just give that to an enemy or something. But this is Emerson. I can't remember the name. It's like CQRQH something, but lovely. I love this little kind of disc on the top. And one of the things I love about this knife, actually, beyond the gangster kind of looking blade, is this little part here. You see the shape? It looks a bit like a tin opener or something, but it's not. What it actually is this is it. It's designed so as you carry it in your pocket, you carry it tip up. As you pull it out of your pocket, you can make sure that catches on the edge of your pocket. And what essentially it does is it opens the knife for you. I'll cut in a little video showing you what that is. And I like how gangster that is. It's very much, I mean, it's still kind of one-handed opening anyway, but it's a little bit stiff actually. But, you know, having that option of being able to open it, you know, you're up a ladder, you're doing something, just with the, you know, the help of your trousers that you got on, man. Love it. Great knife. I like the look of it. It's got a little monkey kind of skull on it. It's good. Now, this next knife, I love this. This is one of my faves. This is the Burley Squid. So cool because it's got a kind of squiddy shape. This is one of my favorite little knives. And it is tiny. It's a tiny form factor. Barely gets across my hand. But I love it. It's in this black stonewash. It's this is from a company called CRKT, which is always a Columbia River knife something. I can't remember. It's terrible, isn't it? Again, this is a frame lock, not a liner lock, and it is. Talk about lock. This is. You cannot get this thing to budge. It is solid, and it just in your hand, it just feels like a solid bit of milled metal. It's just lovely bit of kind of jimping on top there. Great. Loved carrying this when I used to carry it. Brilliant. Next one is this is the Benchmade mini griptilian. Now what I love about Benchmade is their mechanism. They have this mechanism called the axis lock. So the lock isn't in the frame this time, it's back up here at the top of where the blade pivots. So it's lovely. It couldn't be a smoother action if it tried. You can do all sorts of mad stuff with it. Again, I've done a little 3-minute video on this at Christmas, 3-minute review, so I'll link to that like up here somewhere. Great knife. Anything by Benchmade is great, even though it's got a kind of polycarbonate plastic body, I guess. It feels like a solid bit of well-made kit. My friend's got one of their knives in the 900 series, 94 something. I can never remember. I'm bad with names, but again, I've held a couple of Benchmades in hand. I've always been impressed with them. This is the mini griptilian. You can get a large griptilian, which is more, I guess, more kind of not Spyderco size. I guess more like that sort of size. That's also probably pretty amazing. But yeah, excellent, wonderful design, brilliant Benchmade. Now here is a knife that everybody should own. You should have one of these. If you haven't, I don't know what you're doing. If you've made it into adulthood as a man and you haven't got a Swiss Army knife with all the various kind of things that open up, bottle openers, little knives, you've got a toothpick, man got tweezers, a corkscrew. You've got to have one of these. And again, look at this thing, mashed up. This has been used. This is something I always try and keep in my bag. I've got kind of a little pouch thing for it. My friend bought me this, I think, one Christmas or something, and I always throw that in my work bag, or when I'm going away somewhere, just throw it in my bag to have it. All the useful little tools, very good to have. My dad had a Swiss Army knife, and apparently there was going to be like a big ceremony at a certain point when I was old enough to give me the Swiss Army knife, and they tried to do that, but what they didn't know was about a couple of years before I'd found it in my dad's drawer and just took it and started using it and carrying it. And I would put it back occasionally. So this big ceremony kind of wasn't really that impressive because I'd already kind of had it for a couple of years. Get yourself a Swiss Army knife if you've not got one. Now this is the knife that I'm carrying the most at the moment. This is from Twisted Assisted. It's their traditional I call it the Gentleman. I love this knife. I've done a review of this knife and another knife, the Junzi, which actually a knife that I bought and gave to my friend, and I love this knife. It's UK legal because there is no locking on this. It is just got that detent, nice snappy detent there, man. I don't know if you can't feel it. Let me put it up to the microphone, man. You see if you can. Oh, it's just solid, mate. It's just really solid bit of kit. I love the fact it's UK legal. I love the fact it's not that threatening, but the blade is kind of a monster, man. I added a little thumb stud, little brass thumb stud for myself to make it easy to open. Love it. And this is the last knife I bought, and I bought this knife. I don't really know why. I'm not that enamored with it, but there's something it looks better than it is a knife. I think that's the thing for me. This is from Gerber. I love Gerber as a company. And my friend bought this, and his one, he just spent like he got it for one Christmas. He spent all Christmas just opening it and shutting it. So his is like butter. Mine, it's really not like butter at all. It's more like sort of fudge. But I do like the colorway. I do like the black blade. I do like this kind of desert khaki kind of thing. Great little knife, but more a kind of knife. It was £30 or whatever, £25. That was cheap, and it does feel that. But I kept it anyway because I like the look of it. So these are my knives. Lots of different reasons for having them. Just to buy a knife, sentimental. Really wanted it. Really loved it. Really practical. Legal to carry. Lots of different reasons. Now I have got some other knives. Let me just grab them. Obviously, these are definitely not a carry knife. This is a throwing knife. A friend of mine gave me. He's an artist, and he did this show. Mark Evans. He did this show, I think in America, and he sent these knives out to different people, I think, as invitations to the show, which is gangster. He had some left. He gave me one, and then also, not that one. Let's do this one. I got this one, just a camping knife. Me and the family go camping sometimes. It's good to have a really nice, sharp, fixed blade. The other thing is this bad boy. This is my granddad's knife that he carries in the tank regiment in the war, and he carried this through his service, and I'm going to do a whole video, or actually a little mini film on this and on the nature of when people used to carry knives not as a tool but actually as weapons. Anyway, that's it. I hope this has been helpful. This has been the ABC of EDC, and I've been Rick, and happy knife hunting. See you later.